What is going on, guys? I'm Jay the Black. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. I got a very sad story, family. I actually recorded a video about another story that was very similar in some ways to this one. Now, there's a female from Charlotte, North Carolina by the name of Shanquella Robinson. She was 25 years old. She traveled to Mexico with a group of so-called friends, and she ended up passing away. She died while she was there. Her friends rushed back to the States and gave conflicting stories. Now, at the time, which they didn't know exactly what happened, but the truth has come out as far as how she died. But to me, I don't know if this case is ever really going to get solved, because the people who are the real suspects are her so-called friends, to be honest with you. They gave conflicting stories. Apparently, she had not only a broken neck, and I believe her spine was fractured, but she also looks to have been beaten to death. And the only people that I could see that had anything to do with this are the people that she went on that trip with. See, this is why you have to be very careful of the type of people you have in your circle, because there's always going to be some people there that don't like you, and when they get an opportunity, they're going to strike. I believe she may have been set up. I believe Shanquella may have been set up. I think her friends, and then this is just my opinion, I believe they may have went there with the intention of harming her, because they're giving all these conflicting stories only for it to come out that she was basically beaten to death. And she was with them. She trusted them. She might have been a little bit too trusting. Now her family wants answers. But will we ever get those answers? That is why I'm doing this video, because I want more people to hear about it. I didn't even know about this. You know what's very interesting, that she wasn't the only Black American that died in Mexico recently. There were 3 other people from the United States that had lost their life as well. All right, 3 friends. All right. Now, the female, her name is Candace Florence. She was 28. Next one is Jordan Marshall, who's 28. The next one is Cortez Hall, who's 33. They passed away from monoxide or carbon monoxide poisoning, and they were found dead. And apparently the female, Candace, was talking to her boyfriend, speaking about how she didn't feel well, and then the call dropped. So this is very interesting, how you have 4 Black Americans, and this story went completely under the radar. I found these stories randomly while I was researching other things, that you have 4 Black Americans who lost their life in the same time span. What is going on out here? But we're going to get into that. We're going to get into both stories, but I want to get to this one, because this one to me is just sad, and it's troubling. Anybody that reads this, I know, are pissed. The family has to be, and just anybody with common sense, that a 25-year-old girl goes on a trip. She was only in Mexico for 24 hours. She was in Mexico for 24 hours. And then this happens, sir. I think this was planned, and they may get away with it because this happened on foreign soil. And there's really not much America, even though Americans could, if they wanted to, they could push this. That's why it's going to take an effort. If you want justice for Shanquella and her family, then you would push this as well, and not let her so-called friends get away with it, because let's be real, they're the ones who had something to do with this. And that's according to WBTW.com. It says it has become a mystery in Mexico as a Charlotte family tries to find answers to how a 25-year-old wound up dead. Conflicting reports have them wondering what really happened at a villa in Cabo. It was supposed to be a fun, long weekend for Shanquella Robinson and her friend, a group of friends who went to Cabo to celebrate a birthday. She told me they had a chef. They were getting ready to eat. They were eating tacos or a salad or something. And I said, okay, I love you. Have a good night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. I never talked to my child again. She never made it back home, Shanquella mom Salamandra Robinson said in a statement. Salamandra said her daughter was dead within 24 hours of arriving in Cabo. That's why I said that the only people that I feel are responsible is her friends. Figuring out how or why has only added to the family's nightmare. It began with a frantic call from Robinson's friends. They said they wasn't feeling well. She had alcohol poisoning. She said they couldn't get a pulse. She continued, each one of them that were there with her was telling different stories. When the family made calls to the FBI and Mexican authorities, they learned of another potential cause of death. When the autopsy came back, they said it didn't have anything to do with alcohol, Salamandra said. They said that she had a broken neck and her spine and her back was cracked. Do you know how much force it takes to crack somebody's back? It lets me know that somebody would have to grab you from behind and like just really, or slam you. You get slammed really hard. It takes a lot of force to crack someone's spine. That's not an accident. That's intentional. She had been beaten. Salamandra said the entire group returned from Mexico, leaving her daughter's body there nearly 2 weeks, and $6,000 later, her body is back home, but answers have been hard to come by. I know that's not going to bring my child back, but I want something done about it, she said. Queen City News spoke with officials at the U.S. State Department in Mexico. They refute the claim that Robinson was murdered, saying that the police initially indicated that there was no clear evidence of foul play. So how do you have clear signs of being beaten and a broken neck, but there was no signs of foul play? And this is at the U.S. State Department in Mexico. Here in Charlotte, her family refused to believe their daughter's death was an accident, and they vowed to find the truth about what happened that night in Cabo. She had a heart of gold. She loved everybody, and pretty much everybody loved her, Salamandra said. An official with the State Department said they are helping the family obtain reports from authorities in Mexico. They recommend the family hire a private investigator and attorney if they question the circumstances surrounding Shanquella's death. Oh, I think they should. And I would not even mind them setting up a GoFundMe if they haven't already. This is disgusting on a lot of levels. Her so-called friends leaving her body. Like, you just left, and you just left your friend there? You didn't go and check on her? You didn't see if she was all right? You just hurried back? Yeah, that's a sign of guilt. And they only called to cover their tracks because they knew her mother would want to know what happened, so they made up some fake story to alleviate themselves of any accountability in what happened to this woman who y'all treated like trash. You left her in Mexico and you came back. See, this is why a lot of people, you can't trust everybody. You know, this to me looks like it could have been a setup, but the authorities, they're like, maybe they don't have the resources to do a full investigation. Maybe they don't want to. But this woman didn't just, like, how did she get bruised? How was there signs that she was beaten and a cracked spine, broken neck? But you're saying that nothing happened. That doesn't make any sense to me. Something happened to this woman. And there are people too lazy to do their jobs, or they don't want to. They want to make it go away. Why is that? This woman does not deserve to be treated this way. This woman seemed, on all accounts, to be a decent person. You have to be careful the type of people you're around. There's always some envious, jealous person just waiting to destroy you. There's a spiritual war out there. There's definitely a spiritual war out there, and it's destroying anything that gets in its path. Anything they feel are good or decent, they're going to destroy it. let me get to this other story real quick, because it kind of ties into all these 4 Americans losing their life. Now, this, according to the Sun, says 3 Americans were found dead in an Airbnb while on vacation in Mexico, and now police have given a cause of death for the tourists. The friends who stayed at the Airbnb in Mexico City in late October to celebrate Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, died of carbon monoxide poisoning, according to local autopsy reports. However, on the night of October 30th, Candace Florence, Jordan Marshall, and Cortez Hall had passed away unexpectedly. Florence spoke with her boyfriend on the phone that night, saying that she was beginning to feel sick and that something wasn't right, according to Wavy. The couple's call abruptly disconnected. Florence's boyfriend, who was back in the United States, got a hold of the Airbnb host and requested a welfare check on the apartment. When cops arrived to the home, they noticed a strong stench of gas and discovered all 3 guests were dead. Local authorities announced on Tuesday that the friends likely died of carbon monoxide poisoning. According to autopsy reports, the 3 Americans died from inhaling the deadly gas, Bloomberg reported. It is unclear if there are multiple substances filling the air, as carbon monoxide is odorless, and the police did smell gas, so something about that's not right either. So if carbon monoxide is odorless, why did the police smell gas? Something about that is not right. Was there some sort of gas leak in the ventilation of that room? Was it the stove? Like, did that room should have been off limits and they rented it out anyway? You have to be careful when you go to these foreign countries of certain places that you're staying. I know people probably do their research. I'm not saying they don't, but some of these places could just not be put together properly. 2 of the victims, Florence and Marshall, grew up together in Virginia Beach. I saw my brother's name and I read it. My heart sank, and the hardest thing was to break the news to my mom. Marshall's sister Jasmine told WSAZ. Marshall was a teacher in New Orleans. Jasmine said hearing from his students telling us how much they loved him and how much he meant to them, that's made us feel great and so proud of him. Florence's mother and Freda told outlets, my son called me. He had to tell me 3 times, Candace is no longer with us. Candace is no longer with us. Candace, and I just lost it. It is harrowing, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody, Freda added. Florence's father, Kelvin, said she wanted to do big things in her life. I fathered from afar, and I stood back and observed my daughter and saw the things that she was doing, and she was on her way. The third friend, Hall, was a social studies teacher at KIPP Morale Middle School in New Orleans. He is devastated, Mom. His devastated mom, Ciola, told WDSU that she also spoke to her son the day before he died. She says she received a call from the U.S. Embassy on October 31st to inform her of her son's passing, and that she was not initially given any explanation regarding the circumstances of his death. Ciola said, my son was a joyous child. He loved me. He loved his family. He loved to make everyone laugh. It's been so hard. She added, we tried calling back over there for the funeral homes because the language barrier and stuff, you cannot get anything through or really understand. I would hate to see my parents go through what I went through with my son. I didn't expect to hear this about my son. No one expects that. So that's just the gist. I don't read too much, but I just wanted to go over this and go over what happened ultimately to these 4 people. The situation with the 3 friends, they're saying it was carbon monoxide poison. How does that happen at that place? How does that happen? Like, seriously. 4 Americans. It's absolutely insane to me. What happens? And honestly, again, when you go into these countries, man, sometimes you have to prepare for the worst. You know, you just never know the challenges that you're going to face while you're over there. And there was a lot of challenges, it seemed like. And it's deeply troubling what's going on. You still don't really have all the the answers in these situations. I mean, you kind of don't. You're still going off of what's being told to you. You don't know. Maybe the friends didn't have anything to do with the young lady passing. Maybe it was a situation of she accidentally breaking her neck and her spine, all that. Like, come on, man. Something happened in a situation. 4 black people, 4 black young adults, all gone after going to Mexico for a vacation. One was for a birthday celebration. The other one was, to hang out with each other. And now they're no longer here. So let me say in the comment section, let me know your thoughts. Rest easy to all these people. Hopefully their families can get some healing. I'll see y'all in the next one. Y'all take care.